Hello everybody, welcome back. So we're going to have a look at XLM, something we've not looked at in for forever really, ages. And it does appear that like many of these top to medium top cap altcoins, they're brewing some decent looking signals, right? And I've noticed just from my YouTube channel not getting viewed much. I mean, I've not been able to make much around the holidays just because of life. But generally, you notice that when the market is down and sideways, no one's really bothered, and it is so counterintuitive, isn't it? This market, just like any market, really, nobody's bothered when things are going down or even sideways. They only care when things are going up. And it's a shame because it just shows that people just are, a lot of people, just very simple beings. These are the times where you should really be not specifically watching me, but watching the market, getting ready. You don't buy things as they are launching up to the moon. Obviously, that's where people like you and me make our money, from those people buying high. Obviously, otherwise we couldn't sell it to them. So I suppose it works out for the ones who do watch the market going sideways and going down, and getting ready to pull the trigger. Now, over the last, I suppose 3 or 4 weeks, we have been picking up little pieces of altcoins here and there. But now it does appear that some signals are being brewed. We've watched the ICP signal work out. I think we're going to get something out of Algorand as well over the next, maybe the next couple of weeks. This looks like it could be brewing something as well. So we've basically dived in. We're on the 4-hourly chart to start with. So we dived into this buy zone, right? All of this was a buy zone. So whether you bought it or not, it's up to you. We never revisited the lower wick. Since then, we came up to this level of resistance. This was previously a support. The support that got tagged 1, 2, 3 major times with decent reactions. When we broke down below it, it's then flipped into a resistance. So what we've got here, I suppose you could argue, if we're going to stay outside of this buy zone, we've got it would be like I suppose you call them a speakerphone, isn't it really? And this would be the range that we start to play within. And it doesn't have to happen this way. Again, this is a 4-hourly chart, but we would be looking for something like this maybe as the range before we break out, or obviously we could break down. Either of them, obviously, you got to be prepared for all eventualities, right? But if it were to continue with that and eventually break out, which I think it probably will, given what we're seeing here, we've got this incoming golden cross, which hasn't formed yet, but it looks like it's preparing to cross over what would be the next week or so, provided we hold above the areas of we'll call it 29 cents, right, just to be safe. Again, the price action is above it right now, which lends it to further upside, and if we can have a bullish retest of these, that's fine. All major moving averages are blending into one area on the 4-hourly, so fair enough. I mean, it's kind of nondescript. We'll have to watch and wait and see. Now, if we have a look at this on the daily, we can see that the center of the Bollinger Band is creeping out of the buy zone, adding this top level, this 27, 28 cent zone as major support. We're going to start to trend inside this cloud, which is fair enough. We're going to have to do it. And we're being rejected from the 50 exponential moving average. Obviously, death crossed over here. That death cross largely price action had already played out, and so it's one of those red herring events. And so these moving averages are here to be reclaimed. Now, if we stop drawing little circles on the chart here, we can see that the MACD is creeping above the 0 point, which is fine. We had a very nice influx of cash. The volume is trickling out in the short term. That's fine. A consolidation on the money flow index will only allow for a greater push up when we turn around from here. And again, the turnaround on the daily is going to be that 29 to 30 cent zone, this 50 exponential. Similar to the way that we flipped the Bollinger Band center over here, came down to do a bullish retest. I would be looking for this to happen as well. Maybe come up to the top of this speakerphone upwards trend line of resistance. Like I say, this goes back in time a lot further than what we saw. We got test. We also had bang and a test here. So it is a major area, and it's an uptrend of resistance, which is good in a way because it means that every stab up, we might consolidate, but we do get further higher and higher and higher. So higher highs and hopefully higher lows as a result of that. And when we finally do break from here, we're back in this ascending triangle formation, which again is a bullish formation. If we can flip this to support, the apex will bring us over to April, but the chances of us moving slowly and sideways up until April is unlikely. As soon as we start to flip the cloud and the 200 exponential, which again is around 32 to 33 cents at the moment, it's more likely that the market will have turned around by then. I'm very bullish on this market, by the way, unless you've already gathered, and most of my bias is formed on the Bitcoin weekly, which is still very much in a pretty healthy looking uptrend again. So if you looked at something like this on a 15-minute chart, you would be looking for this to turn around soon and then go on to make a new high. I would look at it exactly the same. The only problem is this is a weekly, and this is what people can't handle. They can't handle weekly charts, you know. They can't handle them. They're the best charts to handle. They're the easiest ones to handle. They're the best ones. So we're looking at a pretty much a relatively oversold XLM over here. It does, look like it's broken down because it's broken outside the ascending triangle. But I would look at this in the way that I've looked at other altcoins which have already started to launch. They break down below the simple formation. Again, formations are just a guide, really. They break down below there into a buy zone, really. This is you could buy the support here, or you could buy the buy zone, and the buy zone essentially looks like it's been bought back up over the last month. So this does look like it's brewing a decent move. And when XLM moves, people fail to remember this, but when it does move, so we've got 2 weeks worth of price action here, 200% move. We've got a one single week over here, another 200% move. There we have another week. Well, we could measure it from the bottom of this week to the top of this week. That's a 3-week move, and that's a 159% move. You see where I'm coming from. So when it does move, it moves pretty hard and pretty fast, just like XRP does. The charts, first of all, they don't look at all like each other, but they do sometimes move together. So XRP moves, and XLM will move by default. It doesn't seem to work the other way around. So in many ways, you can't really go wrong with a bit of XLM, because first of all, the chart can do its own thing, and then secondly, if XRP begins to move for whatever reason, this will likely catch a move just by default. So I like the way it looks on the 4-hourly to begin with. We want to see and monitor how we close these next few days, if we remain above this 200 and incur a golden cross. But the way that it's pulled itself up from the buy zone is pretty encouraging, and so that alone makes me more bullish on this than let's just say some of these other coins in the same league as XLM. Now again, this has been a bit of a slow burn since the last peak was generated, and the consolidation, if you call it that, is more of a dump and then an accumulation within an ascending triangle, has taken quite a long period of time. Since May, basically never managing to really stay above the 40-cent zone for very long at all. And it is this 40-cent zone which is the major milestone for it. So breaking above 40 cent will then go into an uptrend. For the moment, you could argue that this is one huge range of accumulation. We get these, we've seen much bigger ones than this, but this is a large range, especially with its tether pairing from the bottom to the top of 108%. So we're technically in the below the bottom of that at the moment. So it's not the end of the world if you were to buy here. It's not the best place. The best place would have been to have bought in the buy zone here. But the overall direction for this one, if we can get that golden cross on the 4-hourly, which should then correspond to more and more divergence across the board, likely to push us up to the 40-cent zone, which should then go back into another uptrend. Pretty bullish on this one, obviously. Everything looks relatively healthy. The only problem we've got is Bitcoin. If Bitcoin pulls back, then this pulls back. But guess what? If it does pull back, guess where it's going to go? It's going to pull back into the buy zone. And what's a buy zone for? It's for buying, isn't it? So I'm not your financial advisor, obviously. You buy where you want. You buy anything you want, wherever you want, however you want. But this is what I would suggest a decent strategy would be. And like I say, if Bitcoin pulls back, it is a blessing in disguise. We're still very much in line with higher highs and higher lows on the weekly, all the way down to about $40,000, which is fine. Most people will see $40,000 and go, "Oh, I told you, bear market is over." Bleh. Throwing up all into their keyboard, finding its way to the comment section. But I mean, that is trading for you. That is what we look for. That's what we want. We want to buy lows and we want to sell highs. So remind your friends that YouTube still exists, and that this is the place to go if you're looking to get some decent entry points, really. I mean, don't forget about the market as it's going down. That's when you should really get interested in the market. do you know what I mean? Obviously, you guys know that because you're still watching stuff, but most people just don't get it. In fact, let's keep it a secret from them, because we do need to sell these coins to somebody, don't we? So we'll let them get interested as the uptrends start to reach their peaks, and then we'll sell it to them, just like Matt Damon did a few months back. Right, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.